Hello and welcome to Wave Support. I see from your clinical request that you have a patient that you're struggling a bit with comfort using scleral lenses in about 16 millimeter diameter. From my understanding, the patient was successful with these lenses last year but is developing more discomfort at this point. A couple thoughts. If we look at your design, these designs are actually very nice, and I see from your clinical notes that you've made a number of adjustments to this basic design in an effort to make these lenses work more comfortably. But I think these are actually working well. A couple things that struck me: the patient had some coding issues in their other eye, and you've had some comfort issues as the day goes on and some awareness issues. One thing that I find very helpful with these patients is to make sure there aren't any underlying dry eye issues. Sometimes you have to go back and revisit that and see if a patient might be a candidate for restasis. Also look to see if anything has developed as far as a allergy issue. But also, if you recall, many of these large diameter lenses tend to have a little adherence or seal off, and they trap that stagnant tear layer inside, which becomes a little metabolically toxic. For that standpoint, I tend to encourage these patients to use preservative-free solution. Insert these like Celluvisc. Try to avoid some of the preservative solutions like the contact lens related solutions. Now, assuming you've been able to accommodate all those for this patient, then we have to look at a way to get these lenses not to seal off. Some people try fenestration, although I haven't found that real helpful with patients. What I do find helpful, if you've been through a lot of these steps trying to get this 16 diameter lens to fit well, it looks like a very nice design in the patient's eye. You might consider going down a little bit to more of a semi-scleral lens. And as you recall, you've got a full vaulting 16 millimeter lens here. Maybe going down to a semi-scleral design. And if you haven't used it yet with this patient or with other patients, it can be very helpful because it gives you many of the benefits of a scleral design, but being a little bit smaller, you get a little bit better tear exchange. And you'll see from the attached email, I've included a link to the Steve Codger 8-step video that shows how to design a lens like that. But I did put one together here just to kind of show you in case you're unfamiliar with it. What I basically did using the 8-step design, if you look at that video, you'll be able to follow this quite easily. I basically go down to the tools down here in the configuration settings, and I chose at about 5.5 and 7.5. I set my edge thicknesses right around 27 to keep them thick. I set this lens at about 14.5, and the rule of thumb is if you take the corneal diameter, in your case which is about 11.5 or so, and add about 3 millimeters or so to that for the overall diameter, choose axial and GSIM, and then design the lens. And when you get to your initial design, you bring this peripheral curve about 0.4 to 0.5 less than the overall corneal diameter. So I set it about 11.1. And you'll get a little bit better view of that lens here. And you try to pin that up here at about the 20 micron line. You want central clearance here in about the 10 to 12 range, so that's actually good, at least minimum of 10. And you want to get some clearance in this for the tear pump in the superior layer. And basically I just went through this design and followed that 8-point step. So I'd recommend that you watch that video, and quite often this will give you a very nice lens that sits on that eye well, does not interfere too much with the cone, but does get you a little bit chance for better tear clearance out at the outer edge because you have a lens that's a little bit smaller in diameter, and you still have a decent edge angle on there. So with that, I think you'll be successful with this patient. I wish you well, and thank you for contacting Wave Support. Have a great day.